Welcome to Technocracy News with your host, Patrick Wood. My name is Logan House. We've got a few good stories to go over today. First one being Kissinger's final warning: prepare now for superhuman people to control Earth. Next would be Technopopulism, when technocrats take over the government. And this is your article, Patrick. And then we have calling all technocrats, Musk and Ramaswamy seek high IQ small government revolutionaries for Doge. Patrick, how are you doing?
I guess that eliminates us, right? You bet. I just have to chuckle on this story about Kissinger, because Kissinger has been on my radar since 1976, when I first started studying the Trilateral Commission with Anthony Sutton. And he was one of the founding members of the Trilateral Commission. Not the co-founder, but one of the founding members of the Trilateral Commission. And he's been raising a stink about stuff ever since. And, here you have a guy, he died at the year 100, a couple years ago. He's writing from the grave, basically, because the manuscript was ready, mostly. It was finished off, polished up by the other two authors. And so here we are. Henry's speaking to us from the grave at this point. And he was convinced that the superhuman people are going to control Earth eventually, right? Okay, Henry, you're on the other side now, looking up, dude. What do you have to say to us now? I don't. He of course he could have gotten saved with his last breath, right? Good, but it's not likely. At this point, I count him down for the count, and he knows the truth now. That's all I can say. But whatever. So this story talks about his book. I have a copy of it here. You won't believe this. I got the copy hot off the press. That's it. Genesis. That's his book now. And you can read the title. You see Craig Mundy is another co-author, and then Eric Schmidt at the bottom. What's interesting here is Eric Schmidt is also a member of the Trilateral Commission today. Isn't that sweet? Mm-hmm. Basically, I nailed these guys back in the 70s as wanting to recreate the economic system of the world. That's basically what's happening today with technocracy and transhumanism and all this business about sustainable development and 2030 agenda. That's all that stuff. It's all about resource management stuff. But I nailed this whole thing back then. I could see where they would go with technology, especially. Now, people say the Trilateral Commission doesn't have any influence anymore. They say, oh, that's just nonsense. No, it could not possibly be a long-running conspiracy to run the world. Well, I'm sorry, folks. But here you have two of the most prominent people in the world at this point. Henry Kissinger, even though he's dead, he's speaking from the dead, for the dead. And now you have Eric Schmidt in particular. This is the former head of Google for all those years when they gave up their "Don't be evil" mantra, their credo. And so, hey, Eric, what do you think where's AI going to go now? Well, he basically agrees also. The superhumans are going to control the world. Doesn't this? Somebody will remember the cartoon series that was put out by Steven Spielberg in the 90s called Pinky and the Brain. And the whole business with the brain was every episode, every night, he was going to take over the world. He hatched a plot to take over the world. Every episode is just hilarious. And his sidekick was also a mouse, and he was insane, totally insane. So the two of them played off each other, right? But the Pinky and the Brain was kind of a caricature of Henry Kissinger, I do believe. If you ever see the cartoon, you'll know what I'm talking about. But here was the character was driven to take over the whole world. You see this now in the Trilateral Commission. They just don't stop. They just don't stop. And we have to remember too. Here's another little dime to drop on you. Anthony Blinken. Whew, I'll tell you what. Anthony Blinken is a member of the Trilateral Commission, also. Here's the guy basically is in charge of our foreign policy, especially everything that takes root in Ukraine and Russia. And there's another guy who's messing with the European theater as well. That's the ambassador to Poland. Poland is in the mix of things right there with Russia, especially, and with Ukraine. They don't want to get clobbered, I'm sure. But who did Biden send to be the ambassador to Poland? None other than Mark Brzezinski. Brzezinski's Zbigniew Brzezinski's son. That's the brother of Mika Brzezinski on the radio or a TV, right? Mm-hmm. And so he's over there stirring up the pot in Poland for NATO and for the warmongers in our country. And it's like, oh my gosh. We can't get rid of these people. They seem to they show up at just the right time to make a statement or exert influence or whatever. Just crazy stuff.
And now it looks like they're dragging us into World War III.
That's right. Exactly so. And could that possibly, could any of this been defused by somebody like the Secretary of State?
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Blinken. Oh, it could. So many things he could have done along the way to defuse the whole thing. That doesn't wash at all. It doesn't even pass the smell test.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope we can make it till January 20th. I don't know how much better it's going to be, but we maybe can stop World War III from happening, possibly.
Well, I know, and I want to when I read this book, Genesis, the subtitle is Artificial Intelligence, Hope, and the Human Spirit. Okay, and the Genesis. What's his business with Genesis? Do these people think they're like God, and they're creating the whole world again, and they're calling it Genesis? You got to think about that.
Yeah. Because
these people, obviously, most of them have a God complex.
Yep.
They basically think they can surpass anything that God ever did, including intelligent design of the world and of the humans in it. Okay. I'm gonna make a major book report at some point when I get. And I hope we don't get blown up in the meantime. Because I want to finish this book, and I want to give a good report on it.
Yeah. Well, at least we can say, as we said before, he knows he's wrong now. So he's not.
Oh yes.
He's not thinking he's God now. All right. So You want to go to the next story or stay on this one?
Oh sure. Yeah. Let's just go on.
All right. This is your story. Technopopulism, when technocrats take over the government.
This is what's coming. This is what we're going to see here, and this is a hard story to understand because if I told people today, without any context of history, if I told somebody that the technocrats intend to take over our government, dismantled it, basically wipe it out so that it does not function, and that basically then appoint themselves to be the technocrats in charge of everything. People have laughed me out of the room. You say, no way it's going to happen. But when you look back at history, that's exactly what they did in 1933 when FDR was elected. And they wrote a book. The technocrats of that day wrote a book, and they said that Franklin D. Roosevelt should declare himself to be the dictator so that he could dismiss Congress and institute a system of technocrats appointed top to bottom to run everything in the country just by fiat. This was in print. I have the book here that that story came from. In fact, I'm going to show you the book. Here it is. Roosevelt and Technocracy. You can see this is an old book. That's a rare book. I had to buy this somewhere like for $250. But this book was published in 1933, begging, as it says, this can be accomplished by vesting supreme and emergency power in some one man who has the confidence and respect of the majority of the American people. And then it goes on, that man is Franklin D. Roosevelt, to whom should be given dictatorial power in the approaching crisis. Really, exactly, that you can't make this stuff up. These people had such brass. These are all, by the way, these were all engineers and scientists at that day. They had no outside influence and no connection for people with the public at all. Mm-hmm. Incredible that they would make such a demand.
Yeah, openly calling to make give the president dictatorial powers.
Yes, in order just to do away with America.
Yeah.
That didn't bother him a bit. At that point, who cares about the Constitution? Forget that stuff. That's silly stuff. They published an org chart, like an organization chart. You see this in corporations today. The president, vice presidents, directors, all that stuff. They actually published an org chart that they wanted Roosevelt to appoint all the people, just appoint him to all those positions, to run everything from the top down. There would be no will of the people at all. There would be no representation of the people. You like it or lump it.
Yep.
This is something so perverse and so different from communism and socialism and any other ism you want to think about. This was just totally crazy. Even the people who saw it at that time realized. Even Roosevelt saw through it, I'm sure. But these people have not changed their mind along the way. This is the whole point of my article. Yep. When you have people like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy get into the government now, they're not going to be confirmed by anybody. They're just appointed to this new position, to the DOGE. And they say, actually Trump said, they're going to be used to reform and restructure our government system. Period. How do you think that's going to work out?
Yep.
These are the same people. They have the same mindset today. They have the same angst against the system that we have today. And they're just basically going to chop, slash, and burn their way through the structure of our country. Of course, they haven't started yet. Thank God. They're gonna. But at this point, they're in the driver's seat, and basically Elon Musk at this point, he's traveling with Trump on Trump's private airplane whenever he goes somewhere. So These people are tight, very tight. At this
I mean,
point
there's
with
been
Trump.
reports that he's barely left Mar-a-Lago since the election. Supposedly
I know.
I don't know.
And Les, are we out of time for this segment?
Yeah, we do, but we can come back on this topic if you want.
I do.
All right,
I want to say one more thing.
We'll go to break real quick, and we'll come back right on this topic.
I want to show this real quick, Dr. McCullough, because we've been really promoting these memberships. Because if you go there to twc.health/Brandon, you can get the one Wellness Select for basically just under $10 a month. The middle one for under $50 a month, and that one includes free prescriptions for under $50 a month, or the Elite, which is $99.99 a month, and that adds in free supplements as well. I mean, this is amazing prices. I was talking to Dr. Thorpe the other day about this. Dr. Thorpe was like, I don't know how they do this because this is such a reasonable price, free subscriptions, free supplements. He was shocked at how reasonable this is.
Right. So anybody who gets one of these memberships, they can transfer their existing prescriptions into the program for the One Wellness Premier or Elite. I did it myself and for my wife, Brandon. And now the orders go to America's Pharmacy in Ohio. They're shipped out the next day. Zero copay. You don't have to go to CVS or Walgreens to pick it up. It just comes to you. This is a terrific program. It covers hundreds and hundreds of drugs. And not only that, the supplements. We have so many people on the Spike Detox. And so here you go. At the higher level, Spike Detox is covered. You get free supplements.
All right, welcome back from the break. Patrick, you left off. You wanted to say something else on this topic?
You bet. I want to remind everybody that this business with Elon Musk, especially being in charge of this new efficiency thing to chop the government apart, get rid of whole agencies. Let me just say, number one, we all would say some of these agencies need to be terminated, like the Department of Education, probably. But the man to do it is not Elon Musk. There's certainly some other people in the country, even like you or your father or me, or whatever, could do a much better job and remembering the people of the country that they serve in the first place. These technocrats, that's not where their head is. We think they're doing the job that we want them to do, but their head is in a totally different place. They're going to execute their agenda, not ours. And you'll see it in the end. But remember, Elon Musk is the arch technocrat of our age. His grandfather, remember, was head of Technocracy movement in Canada. The whole thing, all the provinces had their own head of the Technocracy movement for that province. But Elon's grandfather was over the whole country. And here they finally left Canada and went to South Africa, where Elon was born. But Elon grew up in a technocrat house, steeped in it from top to bottom. Nobody can say that this guy doesn't have a vested interest in what he's doing.
Yep.
Nobody can say that. If anybody that says that is just stupid. They really, you can't say that. You need to examine who this guy is and where his head is vis-a-vis our government. Because at that time, when his grandfather, his name is Dr. Haldeman, at that point in time, remember, he was mixed up with this nonsense.
Yep.
Right? Oh, yeah.
I got a clip for you. As you were talking, I thought of a clip I saw a while ago,
Yes.
and I think it kind of helps prove the point. Here, let me play it real quick.
It's going to win the White House in 2024.
Who do you think will win the White House in 2032? Which type of AI? Transformers or the future?
I don't think he's joking, really.
No, he's not. I'll tell you what, at this point, they're going to downsize government and reorganize whatever's left in a model that supports the supreme concept of AI being able to run everything. And this is obviously, in my opinion, this is exactly what Elon Musk wants to do in the end, to supplant all the jobs that are and functions that are wiped out by their cuts with AI, because AI at this point obviously is very capable of doing a lot of things, not in a human way, but it can automate lots of functions, lots of tasks, and even a whole departments even. So the thought at this point that the AI is in the future of our government, that should just scare the living out of people.
Yep.
We do not want this any way, shape, or form. We don't want to impressed on us by somebody outside our system, much less anybody inside the system. It does not belong here. This country is run from the get-go. This country has been run by human beings for human beings. It's about we the people, not we the machines.
Yeah. And Elon has even been heard, I've seen videos of him saying we don't want to give AI too much control, or we can't let it get control over us, as he's talking about using AI to run the government.
I know.
But this follows right in line with the next article. Go ahead.
It does. People need to get in touch with this. That's why I'm harping on this all the time now, that Americans need to see what's going on.
Yep.
This very, very troubling at this point. This article here, calling all technocrats, this article shows just how condescending these people are at this point. When Musk calls for, we have enough ideas from you people out there around the country, we now are going to call for high IQ. That's a very elite group of technocrats. High IQ, small government revolutionaries, in order to fund this DOGE mechanism. Whoa, okay. So they're giving a call to assemble a cohort of technocrats from the four corners of America to reorganize and radically downsize the government, and then with their superior high IQ to introduce AI to take over the functions of the jobs. What's wrong with this?
I bet you I could guess one of the people who they will bring along with them will be Peter Thiel.
Exactly so. Here's another guy. This Peter Thiel is a little bit out of the limelight, but Peter Thiel is one of the most interesting characters of the technocrat class for sure, because this is the guy who founded and still runs Palantir, the major intelligence organization in the world at this point. Actually, he's on the steering committee of the Bilderberg Group in Europe. Just happens to be a deep stater, you know, on the steering committee, not just a member. He's on the steering committee for the Bilderberg Group for several years now. What's the problem with that? Well, you know, if Trump wants to convince us that he's not part of the deep state, then get rid of somebody like Elon Musk and, by the way, his disciple, J.D. Vance.
Yeah, Peter Thiel's disciple.
Because J.D. Vance was a product of Peter Thiel, groomed for his role in politics, first as a senator from Ohio, and now as vice president.
And as we've said before, J.D. Vance owes Peter Thiel now.
He does.
He owes him government contracts or whatever it would be, but he owes him.
Yeah, I know. It's just incredible to even to think that these people have made so many inroads in this administration, but they're all over the place now. And by the way, don't forget that on the other side of the aisle, the technocrat side, you have Eric Schmidt, a member of the Trilateral Commission, also the former head of Google and Alphabet. He's plying his trade on the other side. You know, you get this idea that the people in this country are like ping pong ball. They get batted back and forth from technocrats, the paddles of the technocrats. It doesn't matter where you go. They show up every single time. So we have a lot of house cleaning to do. Yes, we do. But I tell you what, these people are not going to go away easily just because we ask them to. They won't. Yeah. They're not going to do that. But in the same way that we didn't have them enter into government back in 1933, but nevertheless, when FDR got in the office, he appointed many of these people directly into positions of power.
Yep.
So the legacy lived on.
Well, we have 1 minute. Do you want to just mention the last story or no?
I don't know, Logan. We could, I guess. Who cares, about New York City? They're so into drones. They want to use the drones for the police to beat a path to the all of the crime scenes in the city, which are all over the place,
Yeah.
But these drones, unfortunately, along the way, they can capture every face that you hear, that sees, and all the public is scrutinized, and you listen to conversations along the way. Give me a break. It's like this stuff is not going away at this point. All of the police departments all around the country are going to be using drones now to do police work. And of course they say, oh, we'll never have them be weaponized. Yeah, really?
Well,
not now, but just wait.
Well, I have a suggestion for New York City to combat crime. Why don't you just leave people locked up who commit crimes instead of letting them back out right away? Just like the guy who was just sentenced to life in prison, who killed Laken Riley, who was arrested in New York City and then shipped back to Georgia.
Yes,
so,
I know.
We're all out of time, so we'll be back. It. Go ahead.
Yeah, we covered it.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
We'll be back on Tuesday.
I know, like Arnold says in the Terminator, I'll be back.
All right. Well, you guys take care.